Hey everybody, it's Andy here, aka Montolio, and we're back for another Vintage League, playing Bant today. And what does this hand do? Unfortunately, we are on the draw. Making a turn one Lavinia is pretty strong, but outside of that, we have a swords that we can do, and if we draw another land following turn, or a mox, we can get an Archon. I think this is worth keeping in the blind. I mean, Sliphorn, I believe, is more of a Xerox style player, and we should be able to whittle ourselves back into this game, particularly if they don't run Wasteland. Now, if we run into something like workshops, that's a whole lot worse for us. Now, our opponent seeing our hand here is not ideal either because they could be prompted to counter our mocks. Let's see. Ragavan. Yep. Land. Well, we're going to play our land out first. We're going to play our mocks. If they want to force this, drawing the Flusterstorm here is fairly nice. I am going to do this proactively here, get rid of the Ragavan, because I don't want to open them up to Flusterstorm here. So let's see what happens. We open ourselves up to force a negation here as well, but I think it's probably just better to do this way here. Now, a wasteland here is pretty rough on us, and I think given what they just played, it's possible. And of course, the risk of doing it the way we did as well is that they can dash in another Ragavan, which is not ideal. But that's the world we're living in. And let's just draw a land here. They put 2 on top of their library. I don't like that. Collector Roof does not feel good here. I'm going to play a Lavinia. They probably just have a lightning bolt here is my guess. We didn't shape up very nicely here with the land situation, but if they just turn around and slam a Murktide on us now, I guess maybe what I should have done, I'm going to let this one go to the yard. And I think I'm just going to, I mean, it sucks, but I think I'm just going to do the endurance. Okay, not unhappy to find a Beseju here. Any type of land is good. Iteration's a really good one for them. I really like the Bant deck, and I don't know why, because I don't actually know if it's that good. I have days where I can 5-0 with it, and I have other days that I go 2-3 with it, so it really just depends. Yeah, really unfortunate. What did they reveal here, Exile? So Hardcast Force is up now. Oh boy. Really struggling with lands this game. Seen 2 lands out of 12 cards. Now, in fairness, I kept a 1 lander. I'm sure it would have been nice to take the iteration from them. But, alas. Let's see if we can sneak a swords in here. All right. They've decided to let it go. Couldn't have drawn a worse card in my deck. Can't even use days. Hmm. Well, I mean, if my opponent is flooded, iteration, yeah. Get beat up really bad by iterations right now. All right. I'm almost ready to pack it in here, but I'm wondering if we're playing against Breach, perhaps, like a Xerox Breach deck. Is this just you are Murktide? Bag of in. All right. I don't feel like Oof is likely at its best in this matchup. I also don't think Force of Vigor likely is either. I guess the question for me really is my opponent actually playing Breach? I really don't know. Maybe I just keep a couple Collectorus in here. Energy Flux is definitely bad. I just play a Needle. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Don't really have a great sideboard for this matchup. Okay, I like this hand. A little bit fragile, but we'll see how we do. The fact that they run Lightning Bolts is a little bit hard on the Archons here, being as effective as I'd like them to be. And the fact that I would have to pitch my Oko is not ideal either. Like, the true weakness of this build and the way I've done this Bant list is that Force of Will is quite bad in my deck. The blue spells are all very high impact, and I have low blue count as well. So I have had iterations of this deck where I have taken the Force of Wills out. But unfortunately, I just feel like Force of Will is such an important card. I unfortunately really need this Noble Hierarch, so it'll be a tough decision. I guess I can just play Oko the following turn if it gets countered as a substitute to Archon. I think it's very reasonable. My opponent is running in equal parts Pyroblast to his Lightning Bolt, so I think I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. But I think given the opportunity, I probably will cast the Archon. Unless they just belch out a whole ton of fast mana, and then that would not be ideal, obviously. But my opponent could be thinking about forcing this here, which would be interesting. Maybe my opponent's just having a quick break and not tanking on what's going on in the game. I do believe I will play the Wasteland. If the Mox and Hierarch resolve, I will play the Wasteland as a deterrent to getting Wastelanded. Because I do want the blue mana here. This could eat a misstep. If it eats a force, I think that's great. All right, let's go. That is my turn. You have twice as many cards as me. This is going to be a Ragavan. Raridane, okay. Okay. I'm going to telegraph a Fluster here. They forced it. I think that's okay, you know. Because I have a second one here, I think it's okay. Now, where I get punished for this is that obviously I did not end up flustering, and if they play a Saga here, I will have wanted to wasteland the Saga with a trigger on the stack. Time walk, yep. Not happy about that because my opponent's getting out ahead of my Archon here, but that's okay. Wasteland, alright. They're just going to take my Trop here. I don't think they'll be able to resist that. So they do have Saga, okay. Yeah. Okay. No, we will force here. Play that out to play around days. Some world where they have it or something like that. I'll give up a damage to do it. Now, a bolt, as I said, does nullify my line here, but not much I could do. So, very, very behind in this particular situation. Really want to find something like an Endurance, an Oko. Yep. All right. Well, do I want to block a Ragavan? Would I just chump one? I don't think so. No, I'm going to get my damage in here. Chump blocking is just not going to help me enough here. I think I prefer the offense of casting another creature and just getting the Exalted trigger. So my opponent has one, soon to be two cards in hand here. Yep, and they draw their best card. Well, Ponder, yep. This does feel like a Breach style deck they're playing, but Wasteland, yep. Yep. Feels bad, man. It's two damage is two damage, I guess. They have a lot of land. Nice. Ragavan, okay. Sword's pretty decent, actually. I'm going to do this now, guys. The reason being is I don't want them to draw a counter spell. I think there's a higher prevalence of them drawing a counter spell than drawing a third Ragavan or second Ragavan. Narset, okay. Ancestral, jeez. Not happy about that. All right. Have to hope they didn't find something. Okay, that's good news for me. I think did they play a land? They conceded. Well, that was a really improbable win from our side. I guess my opponent just was really flooded. I felt behind almost that entire game. Like, I have 20 lands in this deck. That is unbelievable. All right, let's go, man. As you can see, my sideboard is fairly ill prepared for this matchup. I don't have much to bring in. All right, well, this is the type of opener I've been looking for, something with a Lotus. The hand itself is fairly lackadaisical, and this is vulnerable to a bolt, but maybe we can find a blue card for our force. Opponent mulliganed. This is what I was talking about last game, is how impotent force is in my deck. They've just conceded. Interesting. Okay, they just were worried about getting wasted out, or is that drawing here? Oh, it won't let me. My opponent took off. But anyways, we will take that win. I'm not sure that we had the win here, but we certainly had a turn one Ramanap with Noble Hierarch into the Wasteland combo with Collector following up. So pretty strong. We'll take it, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you for round two.